Hi, I'm Mark.
Hey, I'm Scott, and this is Church is Lame, the podcast where we try to fix the church by talking about the stupid things churches do that break the entire body. Mark, what'd you find for us today?
Well, so there's this guy, Aaron Judge. He's a baseball player.
Okay.
And according to this article from the Christian Headlines, fueled by his faith, he hits his 61st home run. Now, my question here is, of course, why do we care about this guy's faith in regards to how many home runs he's hit?
Right. Yeah. I've never understood this ever. Like I
No.
understand if you're a top performing athlete that when amazing things happen, you want to give God credit, right? I don't understand why Christians kind of find this interesting or amazing or important, or even think for 1 minute that God cares about sports.
Yeah, and it's just like there's this constant weird linking between athletic success
Yeah.
and people having faith. Or I mean any kind of success
Any
and
success,
faith.
right? Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
it really does make it seem like there's this underpinning of a prosperity gospel thing.
Yeah.
But then like hitting a home run, like this isn't serving the kingdom in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
Unless this guy like gets paid a bonus for every home run he hits and gives all that home run money to the poor. I mean, I really don't care.
Yeah. I agree. This is, I think, like, so this particular time you linked from Christian headlines, but this happens a lot. When any
Hmm.
whenever when any athlete does something amazing and then mentions Jesus or God, the Christian media comes in and just embraces them, regardless of what their personal life is like. And it's kind of like when you know you're not the cool kids, but you just desperately want to sit at the cool kids table. That's what this always every single time. That's what it feels like to me. Um, because on the one hand, like with the Eminem thing that happened, you know that that Eminem and Aaron Judge that
Hmm.
they're not gonna kind of wrap their arms around Christian culture and say this is what I'm about now. I'm about Christian culture, right?
Yeah.
And so Christian culture then what it does is it tries to pull them in against their will, right?
I mean, that's what it seems like. I mean, it seems like people like sports,
Yeah,
so they want to try to make sports like a holy thing.
yeah,
And it's a completely mundane activity. I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with enjoying sports.
I do. I think can I make my case?
Oh, please.
Okay, so let's go back thousands of years, and we used to have gladiatorial fights, right? So
Hmm.
we'd have this thing back then. They called it an arena, you know. We call them stadiums now, but we have lots and lots of people sitting in a circle. Um, Back in the old days, you would have gladiators fighting to the death. But now instead of having gladiators fight to the death, because that's, killing people is not necessarily our favorite thing to do anymore.
It'll
Now
come
we
back. Don't worry.
now we just put people in that same arena, but now we just make the violence. We put less violence in there just to make it publicly acceptable, right? Whether
Yeah.
it be a boxing ring, whether it be ice hockey, where it really does get pretty violent unnecessarily, whether it be football, and even baseball, which is non-contact sport,
Hmm.
can get pretty violent. When pitchers start intentionally hitting batters with 95 mile an hour fastballs,
Yeah.
that can
That's a
that can
bit
do
of a
permanent
weird move.
damage. Yeah. So yeah, in my personal opinion, sports is just kind of the modern metaphor for the violence that we want to enact on each other.
Yeah. I mean, certainly, like I take issue with a lot of sports just
Yeah.
because there's very often this. Like, it's not even about like, you know, you anything meaningful. It's just like this. What's the word I'm looking at? Like vicarious living.
Yeah.
So it's like, I hate the Cardinals because I'm a Cubs fan.
Right.
Even though, like, we might, like, there might be a reality that the Cubs, players in the Cubs are bigger jerks than the Cardinals, right? So
Right.
but it's like, people give in to these really weird alignment.
Hmm.
Like, it's like hero worship.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say it's like hero worship. It is hero worship.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't really like this thing that we do where we combine like sports and faith in that way. I mean, it's one thing. It's like if we get together and have like a fun game of touch football or something, right? You know,
Right.
at a youth group.
Yeah.
But like this is at a different level, and maybe I'm just being like overly cynical about it.
Hmm.
But it really feels like what's happening is people don't think about what they like.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so they want it like it's something that they like, and they want to like it more, and so they make it about Jesus somehow.
Yeah. The part of this that drives me nuts, I think more than anything else,
Mhm.
is the knowledge that there are people who will spend literally thousands and thousands of dollars for season tickets
Oh yeah, yeah.
for a Major League Baseball team, NFL team, thousands and thousands of dollars. If they've recently won a World Series or a Super Bowl, like the cost of season tickets is what somebody would make in a minimum wage job in an entire year. So we have people who will prioritize that, but then the idea of giving $1 to a person on the street is like, oh no, that we can't do that. That is not a good use of my
Mhm.
money. But thousands and thousands of dollars for box seats, that's easily justifiable. And it's kind of like that weird inversion of morality and priorities that makes me go, well, yeah, of course Jesus is going to say he never knew us. When we
Yeah.
make decisions like that, it couldn't be more obvious how much our faith really is just kind of a slice of pie in our life, and not the wrapper that our life is within.
Yeah, and I don't want to make anybody that's into sports, feel like they're a jerk for being into sports. But at the same time, it is the definition of ephemeral. It is here one moment and gone the next.
Yeah, definitely.
'Cause, like we have a completely different, football team now in Chicago than
Yeah.
we did in 1984.
Right.
So it's like it changes. Who wins, who's on top, changes from from moment to moment.
Yeah.
And people can put a lot of extra stake in this, and so it's like the negative aspect of our personalities that being involved and being a huge sports fan can kind of bring out in us.
Yeah.
It's something I think that we need as Christians to be critical of.
Mm-hmm.
And then just this habit of trying to sanctify things that are just worldly things, we need to stop.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I
I'm
agree.
not saying it's just sports. There's a lot of things that I think Christians put a lot of like extra holiness onto that isn't there.
Yeah. Yeah. Sports is a weird one because, like, I
Mhm.
remember growing up, all of my dad and all of my uncles are sports junkies. Like,
Yeah.
they know all the stats, they know all the players, they love talking about the trades and the deals and all that kind of stuff. And so I grew up kind of rebelling against that. I have zero interest in sports, right?
Mhm.
But I do understand, all like all the people that I know who love sports, they're good people. They're
Yeah.
good people, right? And so it's not like I think they're bad people. It's just interesting how this one aspect of our society, uh, sports, which is really just a diversion, right? We go to work, we
Yeah.
work our 8 hours a day. We spend a couple hours at night with our wives and our kids, and then we have this nice entertainment that's a diversion. And it's been one, like we do with everything. We pervert it and we twist it, and now these sports are multi-billion-dollar businesses that we make the center of our lives. We force our kids to get into sports, and we live vicariously through them. Well, I wasn't a great sportsman, so I'll make sure that you get the best, whatever. And all of a sudden, this thing of like I need to be a winner, or else I need to be close to somebody who's a winner. And this has become what our life is about. That's, to me, kind of like this weird part of why sports and faith don't really mix really well, because we spend all
Mhm.
of our time idolizing these other people, and if you're idolizing them, you're not idolizing Jesus.
Yeah. And I think something that we need to stop doing is we need to just stop. We just need to stop
Just stop.
everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as dumb as it sounds, it's like there's a lot of these things in our lives which, you know, we can uncritically put blessing on that we shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Things that don't deserve a blessing, because honestly, it's like if like sports don't advance the kingdom of God, they
Mhm.
serve no purpose. They're like you said, it's entertainment. It's a
It's
diversion.
entertainment. Yeah.
And it's a diversion that people turn to often because, like, you know, oh, I've had a long, you know, week at work, but hey, you know, I have a chance to go out with my guys and see, you know, the whatever game this weekend.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun. It can be a thing to do with friends. It can, and it's definitely has those aspects, but we don't spend enough time thinking about the things that we're doing, I think.
Right.
And say like, well, how does this contribute to God's kingdom? Is this something that I need to be doing? Or is this something that I'm taking energy away from doing something for the kingdom to do this instead?
That's a super good point, and something that I think a lot about, which is kind of like the part of Christianity that is nothing but escapism,
Mhm.
right? Like, oh, like don't worry about your life here and now, because someday there's going to be streets of gold and a city in the clouds and mansions, and you're going to sit at the feet of God, and He's going to answer all of your questions. And nothing is about like bringing the kingdom here now. Nothing's about that. Everything is about then and there, that other life that's going to be on the other side of something. And so we not because we treat our own faith as escapism, it gives us license to treat everything as escapism.
I think that's
Yeah.
I think that's an interesting way of looking at it. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But you know what? I'm sure there are plenty of people that will disagree with this.
of course there are, and we'd love to hear it by all means. You know, we are primarily a YouTube show, so please, by all means, give us your comments. You know, hit that subscribe button, especially. We'd love that. And if you want to email us, send us an email, churcheslanepodcast@gmail.com.
And with that, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.